Kentuckiana's News Channel, a special one-hour winter storm report. Our storm team coverage of the big winter blasts continuing.
We'll take you live to the highways. Are the roads any better? And are those truck drivers still stranded?
Plus, some of the best pictures of the snow live in Sky 11. And when will the temperature warm up? Chuck Taylor has the forecast. Plus, a full list of closings from the opera to the schools. 1 hour of winter storm coverage coming up next.
WHAS 11. Live at noon from the leader in television news, Gene West. This is Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
Today's low has hit -10 outside earlier today, a new record for today temperature-wise. Good afternoon, Kentuckiana. You're now looking at live pictures this morning and this afternoon from Sky 11. As you can see, there are still trucks littering the highway as Kentuckiana waits for the big thaw.
Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt along here with Rachel Platt. This is a one-hour special winter storm report from WHAS 11. We've been on the air with you since 5:30 this morning, watching day 2, the aftermath of our big storm. Today, it's just about as bad as it was yesterday. Very little improvement. The city and the county right now are talking about creating at least plowing perimeter zones for most people to drive on, but that doesn't include neighborhoods. And of course, the big story today is that weather, huh, Rachel? The wind chill factor.
The wind chill factor, we've set a record. And first, what we need to tell you, the governor is getting ready to have a news conference. We think what he is going to talk about earlier today, he was asking everyone to stay off the highways except for emergency vehicles.
I understand that he is talking now, so let's go to Governor Burton Jones live.
We would ask that people continue to stay off the roadways unless they are in an emergency. We would ask that the roadways will all be cleared as soon as possible. We're asking that those that are now blocking passing lanes in the interstate, or those that are blocking the rampways, would have their vehicles removed immediately. Starting at 1 o'clock today, we will begin to tow those vehicles that are blocking the rampways and blocking the interstates. Those that are not in the throughway traffic of the interstates, we would ask that they would be removed by 8 o'clock in the morning. Those that are not removed by that time, we will begin to tow at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. This, of course, is necessary so that we can get emergency vehicles through, and we can make certain that we do not allow any hindrance for those that must travel. I would like to make certain that everyone understands that we have issued a directive that has said that at this time all interstates remain closed with the following exceptions: vehicles obtaining food or medicine, vehicles carrying food products, including perishable agricultural products, home heating fuel. At this time, we do not allow gasoline or any other chemicals to be on the interstate. The time will come, of course, when we will have to transport gasoline. But we believe at this time it is in the best interest of safety to keep the gasoline off the roadways until we're able to get them cleared so that it is safer. Once again, I ask for the understanding and the patience of the people of Kentucky. We are looking at this problem, and if we continue to be patient, we continue to work together, we will be able to make certain that everything is not only under control, but is well taken care of. I can also report to you at this time very happily that as of today, at this point, we have not had any report of any death due to the weather, and we want to make certain that we keep it that way. Thank you very much.
All right, Governor Burton Jones live there in Frankfort. Again, let's just reiterate the top points. All interstates remain closed except to emergency vehicles. And beginning today at 1 o'clock, if your car is stuck in the driving lanes of the interstate, they begin towing at 1 o'clock today. If they are abandoned on the shoulders of the roadways, they get towed starting tomorrow. Again, Governor Jones just saying that.
Okay, the impact on this, of course, is going to be pretty big. Obviously, a lot of cars are off on the side of the road. Up in the air, tracking the traffic, what is at least out there is our Julie Koenig. She's live in Sky 11. Hello,
Has been
Julie.
all morning. Julie, what kind of progress have we seen? It doesn't look like much right there.
Well, good afternoon, Rachel and Doug. No, actually nothing has changed since we were flying over this morning. This is the problem that Governor Jones is talking about. As you can see, these are exclusive live pictures from Sky 11. We are heading south along I-65. There are literally almost 100 semi-trucks that are stalled in the driving lane. They're not going anywhere. As you can see, some motorists are venturing past them in the passing lane, but going very, very slowly. In excess of 100 trucks that are stranded heading south, maybe another dozen that are stranded coming in the northbound lanes. We are south of the Gene Snyder Freeway heading south on 65 at what is the Brook Road exit. Fortunately, it looks like some of the trucks were able to make it over to that Citgo truck stop. Probably another 75 are sitting there frozen, as are the rest of them. We haven't seen much progress, but hopefully when those trucks come to start moving these semis out of the way, we might be able to see traffic resume to normal, or at least emergency vehicles will have an easier time if they have to make runs south of the county. Again, from these exclusive pictures you see, not much progress here on I-65. It looks about the same as it did yesterday when Mark Hebert was down here reporting on what literally looks like a parking lot from above Kentuckiana. Rachel, Doug?
All right, thank you very much, Julie Koenig, reporting live in Sky 11. Now let's get a ground view of all of this. Mark Hebert's been out live all morning long. I'm sure he's pretty cold by now.
Well, actually, we've been sitting in the live truck, so it's not too bad, Rachel. As you can see behind us, this is Interstate 71 heading in towards the city. Trucks like this one right here have been weaving their way through the stalled cars, the abandoned cars that have been sitting here since last night when the Red Cross came and took these people out of their cars, took them to shelters. We understand there were several children in the cars. In one case, there was a 17-month-old baby in a car where they were low on fuel. Red Cross came and took them to a shelter. But there are a number of abandoned cars. We understand the governor is now saying that he wants these cars off the roadway and wants them towed by 1 o'clock. So hopefully these people can come get them because they're pretty free to get out right now. To show you what we're dealing with out here, there is absolutely no moisture left. You can see how this just crumbles. There's no moisture in this snow. It's very dry. I'm going to go out on the roadway right now. It is packed down solid out here on Interstate 71. It is slippery, and in many cases, there are deep, deep ruts, not right in the area where we are standing, but back up this way where the trucks cannot plow a solid line through and get down to the pavement or anywhere close to the pavement. There are just these huge ruts, and it's like if you're a skier, you know what a mogul is. It's like driving in a moguled area of a ski slope. So the conditions are still bad out here. If you don't have a four-wheel drive truck, forget it. Stay home. It's cold.
Hey, Mark Hebert,
Thanks,
live
Mark.
out there on the slick roadways. Thank you very much. We ought to tell you we've already had a lot of closings for tomorrow. We're going to get to those in just a couple of minutes right here.
That's right. Well, the roads are still dangerous, but many are certainly in better shape than they were last night.
On East Broadway this morning, the water was bubbling out after a water main break. These cold temperatures have kept the water company hopping with several breaks. And officials tell us their biggest problem has been just getting to these water main breaks. They are asking, however, that if your home or business is without power, to keep a small trickle of water running in your house so that your pipes don't burst. And if you leave your house because it's without power, turn off the main water main line in your house.
Hopefully you know where that is. Well, the cold temperatures are causing some problems, definitely, for the water company as well. Workers got a rather chilly awakening this morning. On East Broadway this morning, the water was bubbling out after a water main break. These cold temperatures have kept the water company hopping with several breaks throughout the day. Officials say their biggest problem has been just getting to the water breaks. They're asking, however, that if your home or your business is without power, as Doug just said, if you're going to be in your home, keep a small trickle of water running so your pipes won't burst. And if you're going to be leaving your home and the power is out, definitely try and shut that water off if you can.
Sound familiar there.
Never hurts to say it twice.
Oh, you're right.
And Chuck only needs to tell us once it's very cold out there. Right, Chuck?
We're talking about record-breaking cold. Earlier this morning, just a few hours ago, we set a low temperature record for this date, 10 below zero here in Louisville. Now, temperatures are still below zero. It's 6 below right now with a wind chill of 39 below zero. Maybe this afternoon we'll struggle up to zero. And tonight, guess what? We're going to tie a record of 14 below. It may even go colder than that. Well, we have some very cold storm team trackers that have been out checking their thermometers this morning. Up in Madison, Indiana, the temperature is now 5 below zero. Howard Hall in Underwood, Indiana, and Clark County reports 4 below zero. Steve Mangus Venus over in the Knobs in Floyd County reports 8 below zero, and it's cold even southwest of here. David Hayes in Hardinsburg reports an icy 4 below zero. Now, the National Weather Service has issued a wind chill warning. You really shouldn't be out this afternoon. We're talking wind chills 40 to 50 below zero, and this brutal cold weather will continue at least through the day tomorrow, but there is hope for later on this week for a warming trend, and I'll have more on that and the complete forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Chuck. Well, all morning long, there have been meetings with the mayor and the county judge executive to evaluate the response to this record-breaking snowstorm.
And emergency workers at City Hall have been working overtime, to say the least. So has our Lisa Chiava, and she joins us live now from the command center of downtown Louisville City Hall. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Doug. Rachel. Emergency workers here say that the city and the county are making progress in terms of snow removal. But even they don't predict that life will return to normal tomorrow or anytime soon. It'll be Thursday or Friday at the very earliest. Now, this is what things have looked like pretty much all day here. People answering phones, taking requests from doctors and nurses who need rides to hospitals and so forth, and also taking requests from dialysis patients who need assistance, need four-wheel drive vehicles to get to their emergency centers. They're being encouraged to call their dialysis centers instead of calling here, but they will take those calls as well. Finding four-wheel drive volunteers is a special problem today. Yesterday's volunteers are tired or they're working, so they're difficult to find. That's why they're calling in more National Guard troops into the county. There are already about 100 soldiers on duty with Humvee vehicles. Now, earlier today, as you mentioned, officials held a strategy meeting about snow removal. Here's what some of them had to say.
Is a problem in the sense that we're not using it now because the weather temperature has dropped too low, so we're going to hold up on our salt since the county and the city have just so much salt available at this point. We're going to wait and put it down when the weather temperature comes up and gives us an opportunity to respond.
We're working on some concerns with fuel problems. We think those are resolved. We're working on a transportation grid which will give us a better service for all of our emergency vehicles throughout the county. We're working very closely with, as I mentioned earlier, the National Guard in areas where we're trying to provide additional transportation for critical personnel, both in hospitals and government.
Now, County Judge Executive Dave Armstrong is going to join us live now because he'd like to update us on something that the governor said in his press conference about gas restrictions.
I've talked to the governor, and I'm going to talk to him as soon as we complete this. There is currently a state fire marshal ban about moving flammable fuel, and that's something we desperately need for the next 2 to 3 days here. So I'm going to ask if we can get some sort of exemption from him as a result of our need. All of our police and emergency vehicles depend on fuel that is derived from the tank, so we need some dispensation from the governor, and we're working on that now.
And an update on the TARC buses.
TARC will run from 7 a.m. this morning and run to 7 p.m. It's the last bus out of downtown Louisville, 7 p.m. There'll be no charge.
Free service from TARC. Okay, thank you, Judge. And also an update on the shelter situation. Western Middle School will open at 4 o'clock. Western Middle School will open at 4 o'clock. A number of people have been taking advantage of the shelters. About 100 people in Jefferson County, nearly 500 people in Bullitt County taking advantage of the shelters. Rachel, Doug?
All right, thanks a lot, Lisa Chiava.
Thank you very much, Lisa. LG&E crews are going to work all day long to repair the power outages. Right now, there are 10,000 LG&E customers without power. The improvement from yesterday, remember there was 20,000 of them out. This is coming from mostly downed tree limbs falling onto the wires. Now, if you have a problem with your power, or you notice those down power lines we've been talking about, call 589-3500. Again, this is a special 1-hour WHAS 11 storm team report. We're going to have a lot more information for you coming up, including with temperatures below zero. It's been a rough day outside.
That's right. That's why we're going to head out now to Bill Minish, who's been out there braving the cold weather all morning long. What can you tell us, Bill? First of all, tell us exactly where you are. Obviously, an interstate behind you.
Yeah, exactly. We're on I-65. We're in the northbound lane south of the city. Fern Valley Road is right in front of us here. And I'll tell you where else we are. We're in a graveyard of semi-trucks. They are all over the place. We got one here, two behind here, and a couple ahead of us too. And I'll tell you what, here's the reason why they're back here. It's this mound of snow that is right here. I mean, look at this. It comes up to about my thigh. So these trucks were back here before the snow hit, and now the plows have come by, they've pushed the snow up, and they are stuck here. How did they get out? Well, let's look at some tape that we shot earlier of trucks that were stranded. They sat there and spun their tires, did everything they could to try to get out, and it came down to asking fellow drivers to give a helping hand. So they loaded on the chains, and they did everything they could to pull each other out, finally getting free from these ruts that have built up on the side of the highway, and once they're out of there, they get back to their destination. Now, if we can come back here live, I'll give you an idea of just how bad it was. I saw Mark Hebert showing his area, and it is just the same problem here. Take a look down. We're just off the highway, and this is so deep. You can't, even kicking like that, get down to the surface. And then now I'm even finding, as you get down there, it is a solid sheet of ice underneath. Now, 1 o'clock is when they say they're going to start moving these vehicles off. I think they're more concerned with the ones that are blocking, where these ones aren't exactly blocking. These have to be moved, from what we understand, from what I've been hearing, at 8 o'clock tomorrow. One problem with that, I made several phone calls to tow truck companies. The first two were in southern Indiana. I asked them if they could come help some folks that we had been talking with all day. They said there was no way. They couldn't get across, couldn't get off the off-ramps to give them a helping hand. So I called a Louisville company. The last number I got, the problem with them, they said it'd be 24 hours before they could get and help these folks out. 24 hours, roughly 9 o'clock when I made the call. That puts them an hour past the deadline. So these truckers, unfortunately, are in a little bit of a tough bind right now. Rachel?
That's for sure. Thanks a lot, Bill Minish, reporting live for us. Well, about the only way to get around today is with a four-wheel drive truck. Now, if you have a four-wheel drive, lots of people could use your help. And if you would like to help, we have this phone number we want you to call, the 4x4 Club. The number is 574-3900. Again, that's 574-3900.
And one new closing to pass along to you that we have here. The Toyota plant in Georgetown, Kentucky has canceled its second-day shift for today. Again, that's no second shift today at Toyota in Georgetown. Well, shelters around the area will stay open again today to help people who are stranded and have no electricity.
That's right. We've been talking specifically about the shelter setup just for this, but we want to remind you shelters like Wayside are open 24 hours a day right now. Remember those shelters as well. Now, here's a list of the shelters for the storm of 1994. We're going to break, but we'll be right back with more live coverage. I'm Rachel Platt. Welcome back to our special one-hour edition of the Noon News here.
And I'm Doug Proffitt, along with Rachel here, showing you live pictures at 12:20. This is I-64 near the downtown area. Let's tell you about some things still going on in our area. We're going to give you a complete closing list, at least of schools coming up. Plus, we're also going to talk to you about the Wildcat and Indiana games, what's going on with them. But first, local hospitals. We're going to tell you about them because they have been asking for help in getting food and doctors and nurses to their different locations since yesterday.
That's right, and lots of people have answered the call for help. Our Ann Jewell went to Norton Hospital this morning to see how things are going there.
Can you find Blake more on here? You're looking at Operation Snow. This is the brain center of Alliant Hospitals during this emergency.
Actually, we're running pretty well. We still need to get folks in, and obviously now we've had folks here for 36, 48 hours even that we're trying to get some relief for and get home. So we're really doing very, very well, but we're not out of the woods, of course, because we've got a long week ahead of us, I think.
They have been working for several hours now. And
they coordinate transportation for hospital staff according to zip code. People like Jim Dickin are lifesavers. He delivers medical staff and pizzas.
Yeah, I'm helping with the doctors and nurses in the morning, and in the afternoon I'm going into the store to see if some of the people that are working late and doing emergency service need food.
Norton Hospital is usually a busy place this time of day, but not now.
Medical supply trucks have not been able to get through, but they've got plenty of supplies for 3 days, and they're hoping on a delivery this afternoon.
And some deliveries arrive, snow or no snow. Ann Jewell, Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
Well, one snag the hospitals have run into is trying to find child care for the staff members that they need at work. Now more on a story that stood above all others yesterday. That little girl from Hikes Point who needed a liver transplant and in the middle of the snowstorm was told that a donor had been found. But little Michelle Schmidt on the right there was faced with a town paralyzed by snow and no flights out. Word got out on the airwaves, and sure enough, a helicopter transport was arranged. The chopper took her to a plane, and Michelle got her transplant in Omaha, Nebraska. We can tell you today that she is in intensive care, in serious condition, but we are told she is doing well. She got a half a liver, which doctors say will regenerate. Stay with us for more updates on this one great story from the winter storm of '94.
Been getting calls on that still today. A lot of people wanted to know how she was. Well, some of the best pictures from this storm have come from Sky 11.
Our Julie Koenig has the high seat in the air right now. Julie, you still freezing up there?
Yes, we've got the high and the very chilly seat up here. It's basically a flying icebox that we're in, but let's take a look down at Spaghetti Junction. Normally it would be a very busy mix of cars and concrete at this noon rush hour. Right now, though, just a little bit of traffic, a few trucks heading south on I-65. You had talked earlier about them starting to tow stranded vehicles off the highways, that beginning at 1 o'clock. If you can look there on the ramp heading east on 64, you can see an example of what's causing bottlenecks around. There's about 3 trucks stranded there, a few cars dotting I-71 as you head north towards Cincinnati. Folks, please, please don't get out unless you absolutely have to. Number one, it's just too cold. Trust me, where it's probably a few degrees colder up here above the city. But basically, there's no need to be out today unless you absolutely have to. The unfortunate thing about this all is that it is so cold you can't get out and enjoy it. It's really a breathtaking view up here. If you can see the Ohio, there is a steam rising off of it. Actually, some ice forming on the river, which will tell you how cold it is outside. So this afternoon, we'll stay up here and try and bring you some of the prettier side of this storm. It actually has left Kentuckiana looking very lovely. Unfortunately, it's been too miserable to enjoy it. Rachel and Doug.
All right. Thanks a lot, Julie.
Julie, thanks so much. Well, as we mentioned to you, some of the best pictures that we've seen on this storm have been coming from our helicopter. It has been up in the air full time since yesterday. And you want to see the true power of a downed power line, just look at this. From the air in Sky 11, notice the sparks, the steam coming up there, the fire in the snow. This is from southwest Jefferson County yesterday off Dixie Highway near Butler High School. The pure power coming out of that line is evident from even high in the air, burning right through the snow to the ground. And remember, downed power lines can remain active for weeks after they fall, and if you discover them after the snow melts, you need to call LG&E right away.
And now a possible cause on that apartment fire last night that we also showed you from Sky 11. It was at 34th and Ali. These pictures were taken shortly before 7 o'clock last night. The two-story building that housed a business on the first floor and apartments on top caught fire shortly before 7. Officials tell us a woman who lived there smelled smoke, went downstairs and saw the fire. She apparently tossed her son on the second floor to safety down to the first floor. She also managed to get out. Thelma Smith says the fire started with a gas space heater on the first floor. No one was injured. Firefighters say the snow made it difficult to move the fire trucks out, but no major problems. They tell us on any fires today, though, they will have a heated bus nearby for firefighters to take breaks in to stay warm. Obviously, that wind chill out there could prove to be a very big factor for firefighters today.
Well, folks, you're going to have another day off tomorrow. We do have some school closings to tell you about already for tomorrow, and it includes the Jefferson County Public Schools. There's no school tomorrow, and here's the list. And they are still coming in, so stay with the news channel. We're going to keep updating it. Well, we need to look forward to when the big thaw is going to come, and Chuck Taylor's going to tell us about it next.
Hopefully it's not in the too distant future. We're hoping not anyway. The storm team forecast is next. Another live picture, though, from Sky 11 over the Ohio River. We keep looking for those ice chunks. Stay with us. Our live coverage continues.
Hudson knows there's no time like dinner time.
The WHAS 11 Storm Team. Meteorologists Chuck Taylor, Ken Schultz, and Ashley Chisholm. The WHAS 11 Storm Team.
Well, we weren't alone with our records. Just take a look at some of these records around the region. There's our record here in Louisville, and that was set after the sun came up this morning. -10 in Lexington, 7 below for a record in Indianapolis. Look at that, 17 below. Covington had a record with 14 below, and in Paducah got down to 6 below. Well, even with sunshine, temperatures just have not been going up in a hurry. I'll tell you, most of our reporting stations are still well below zero. 16 below up around South Bend. They have a wind chill right now of 57 below. In Indianapolis, it's 14 below. Their wind chill is 58 below, and even to our south, it is brutally cold. 3 below in Paducah, just at the 0 mark in Bowling Green. 8 below is the current temperature around Lexington. And of course, we do have a wind chill warning in effect for this afternoon. You just should not be outside. We're talking high temperatures 0, but with those wind chills 40 to 50 below 0. Just almost unheard of in this part of the country. Well, look at our current temperatures, 6 below 0. The humidity is 61%. We have a west wind coming in at 15 miles an hour. That gives us a wind chill here of 39 below 0. The barometer on the way up, a big Arctic high is moving in. That barometer is already very high at 30.52 inches and still going up, and it will continue to rise for about the next 12 hours. Well, yesterday's high temperature at midnight was 32. Our low this morning, a record -10. The previous record was 8 below, set back in 1930. Precipitation melted for yesterday was 1.53 inches. Well, you can see how the clouds moved out as that big storm system moved to the east coast and is now moving off the east coast. We do have mostly clear skies around here. From time to time, we do have some of those low clouds moving through, giving us a few snow flurries. That situation will persist during the afternoon, but as the big high moves in, skies will become mostly clear later on tonight. Now, on the weather map, there's the big Arctic high-pressure system. The big high is going to move off to the east. A little disturbance is going to be coming our way as some of the warmer air moves in. That little disturbance now developing over the Rockies. That will move eastward. That will bring the chance of maybe a few snow flurries here later on tomorrow into Thursday. Right now, it does not look like anything very extensive as far as the snow is concerned. But after that system moves through, we definitely are going to see a warming trend. In fact, we're talking about a major thaw coming up here for the weekend on into next week. So the brutally cold weather will stay with us for the next 36 hours, but after that, believe me, things will be improving. We do have a wind chill warning in effect for this afternoon, a high temperature of about 0 with those wind chills of 40 to 50 below. Now tonight we're going to tie the record. It should become mostly clear. The overnight low temperature will be around 14 below 0. Then tomorrow clouds will be increasing. We could see a few flurries. Tomorrow's high temperature will be around 10 degrees. On Thursday, with the continuation of a few flurries, a high of 18. On Thursday, up to 30. And finally, by Saturday, temperatures should move above the freezing mark. Our thaw will begin, a high of 38, and I think by Sunday, temperatures will be actually into the 40s, and most of next week will be mild. In fact, we could hit 50 degrees sometime next week. But in the meantime, just don't go out unless you have to. Doug and Rachel?
All right,
Thanks,
thank
Chuck.
you very much, Chuck. 50 degrees.
Sunbathing weather.
We'll take it. Well, another concern for many of all of us out there is our mail. The post office is telling us that it will not be delivered today in Jefferson County, and they're really pretty iffy about tomorrow. However, if you need any mail services and you need to do anything at the post office, we can tell you that there are people staffing every post office branch located in Jefferson County. But again, no mail delivery in Jefferson County today.
And when we talked with the postmaster this morning, he said, and if you could clear your access to your mailboxes, that would help them a lot.
You can
once
find
they
your
start,
mailboxes in
First
your road.
find it, then clear access to it. Well, up next, the very latest on the road conditions out in the county and to the south of here.
And we're live across Kentuckiana at Sky 11, showing us a barge in the river. A 1-hour special report underway on WHAS.
2 quarts of milk makes every 8-ounce bag of Kraft shredded mozzarella taste better. How do they do that?
Well, 2 giants pour the milk into the cheese that it got so big that it exploded into little pieces.
Every 8-ounce bag of Kraft shredded mozzarella is made from 2 quarts of milk. That's why it always tastes better than imitation shreds, made with almost no milk at all. Kraft shredded mozzarella. More milk means better taste.
K-R-A-F-T. I love that story.
I was nearsighted, and it was never a question to me where to have RK.
Dr. John's done more radial keratotomy than anyone in this area.
I went to the most experienced physician, Dr. John, and the most experienced RK team.
I wanted safe results and the most predictable results.
The people at John Kenyon have a proven system for radial keratotomy.
Call 288-2020 today to find out if you're an RK candidate. The John Kenyon Eye Center, Kentuckiana's proven RK leader.
When I get gas, I may look like this, but I feel like this, painfully bloated.
Gas-X has the most powerful medicine to fight gas faster than antacids.
So I feel like me again.
Painful gas needs the power of Gas-X.
Hey, slow down. Don't buy that RV. You haven't been to Tom Raper's RV show. It's the biggest in the Midwest. Everybody knows the best deals on motorhomes, towables, mobile homes, sectional homes are during Tom Raper's RV show on Tom's 60-acre complex. The biggest dealer is offering the best show discounts. Now, aren't you glad you came to Tom Raper's RV show?
You love the deal that you've made, where the roses don't fade.
Richmond, Indiana.
Save today, Tom Raper's way.
Close Sunday, big discounts during show.
Hello, I'm Melissa Swan. The Girl Scouts help girls grow through fun and adventure every day, and January 22nd is certainly no exception. Join me as the Girl Scouts have their annual cookie stacking contest. It's at Jefferson Mall Saturday. Hope to see you there.
We've told you all morning long, if you don't have to be out, don't go. Most roads are still icy and very dangerous.
The News Channel's Chris Turner spent this morning surveying the roads out in Jefferson County.
You're lucky to be able to drive only 20 miles an hour on the plowed roads in Jefferson County, just outside Louisville, and that's only if you have four-wheel drive. Some of the better traveled county roads have been plowed, but they're bumpy and uneven with the packed snow. But side streets and lesser traveled roads are still snow-covered, and sometimes you can't even get through.
You got a little bit of ice, you got approximately 1 or 2 inches of ice built up, and what snow that's left on it.
This guy drove from Bullitt County to the Dairy Mart on Miners Lane.
What you're seeing right here out in Bullitt County, it's real bad. It's four-wheel drive or don't even get out. That's what we've got.
Yeah, you find a lot of folks stuck out there? Some places impassable or what?
Looks like a parking lot on Zolton Road. That's where I live at, out there in that area. So it's pretty bad.
Look at Miners Lane where I'm standing here. This certainly would be one of the better of the secondary or county roads in Kentuckiana. It's been plowed, but still the snow here is packed pretty deep, and this is what is freezing, according to some of the drivers we've talked to, too, into that sheet of ice. The road also, it's normally 2 lanes, and it's been plowed to where there's barely 2 lanes open. The safest thing lengths, probably where one car would wait for another car to pass by if you were to meet. Still, for the most part, we're seeing just four-wheel drive vehicles of the vehicles that are able to get out at all, and it's going to be that way for several days to come, given the cold weather. And hey, when you think about it, we may have some of this snow and some of these slippery conditions literally for weeks to come. From near Miners Lane, Chris Turner, Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
Again, police are saying don't go out today if you don't have to. A lot of things are already closed for tomorrow, so the same sticks for tomorrow on the roads. They're probably going to be pretty slippery in the morning.
Well, down in Bullitt County, the roads are slick and dangerous, too. Emergency officials there tell us I-65 is closed except for emergency vehicles, and this is a good example of how bad this storm really is. 480 people spent the night at Bullitt Central High School for shelter last night, and we're told most of those people are still there today. Coming up tonight at 5:30 and 6, we'll take you to Bullitt County and show you how things look. And this came across the wire a bit ago. They were saying statewide 1,900 people are still in shelters in the state of Kentucky due to this storm coming through.
Well, you know, Rachel, you and I watched this morning. Those huge TARC buses tried to get around this morning on downtown streets, but many didn't make it. In fact, we found this TARC bus stuck in the snow right near our station here downtown, but others moved slowly down the icy streets. Drivers we talked with are frustrated and cold.
TARC, I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know what's wrong with them. There's no better than these buses out here.
I'll have to sit here until they come and get me out. You know, so no problem.
TARC is running, and we're going to have a complete schedule for you on exactly what they are doing. Rachel?
And here is that schedule. TARC buses are running until about 5 o'clock. We've been hearing a few different times with that, but apparently some of the last buses to leave the downtown area will be at 5 or 6 o'clock. We'd advise you get there as early as you can to your bus stop. Only the major routes will be run. There is no fare or schedule today, again, so if they're a little late, bear with them. Now, these are the buses that are running. Number 4 at 4th Street, number 23 at Broadway, number 17 at Bardstown, number 6 at 6th Street. The list continues here with number 15 at Market Street, number 29 at Eastern Parkway, number 18 at Preston. Finally rounding it out, number 19 at Muhammad Ali, and number 21 at Chestnut Street.
Well, most every business out there, you can name it, is pretty much shut down in Kentuckiana today.
But there are a few out there, I guess, that are managing to stay open. Stephanie Collins found out who those folks are.
Well, it's day 2 of this big storm and day 2 of businesses being closed throughout Kentuckiana. We're in downtown Louisville on 4th Street. We did happen to find one business that's open right here, Walgreens. They said they decided to stay open because they have customers that need medication. Now, the only way they were able to stay open was to actually have the manager spend the night here. His name is Doug Johnson. He's standing right over here, and I want to introduce you to him because he's one of the people who's taking that extra step, going that extra effort just to ensure that his customers can be taken care of. Hello, Doug. How are you doing this afternoon?
How are you doing?
Tell us why you decided to spend the night.
Well, we were open till like 3 o'clock, and it just was harder to get home than it was to spend the night, and had to be right back this morning to just get open, and it was just easier to stay.
What were the accommodations like here?
Well, I had a lawn chair and a TV and a microwave oven to warm something up, and that was it.
And how late are you staying open today?
We're going to stay open to about 3. I think some of the other Walgreens are staying open to 5, and we've got 3 24-hour Walgreens that will be open all the way.
Thank you, Doug, and thanks for talking to us. I know you've had a long day yesterday, a long night, and you're back at it again today. Thank you very much. And again, there are only a few stores open around Jefferson County and Kentuckiana today. Walgreens happens to be one of them. They have a pharmacy, and that's the primary reason that they are staying open. They need for their customers to have their very important medication. For Kentuckiana's News Channel, Stephanie Collins.
Thanks a lot, Stephanie. Now we need to tell you about some sports team, so I guess trying to stay open for business.
The real important stories.
Well, exactly. A lot of people out there definitely have cabin fever, and they want to know if they can watch their favorite games. Well, we are being told that the Kentucky Wildcats and the Indiana Hoosiers will play tonight live on ESPN.
And the Wildcats are going to take on Florida down in Gainesville, Florida, and they were scheduled to leave yesterday at about 1 o'clock. You may have heard us talking about that saga, but because of the weather conditions, their flight had to be canceled. However, they're going to fly out today at 1 Game time is 9:30 there.
That's right, and the Indiana Hoosiers take on Purdue, and apparently they didn't have to worry about canceled flights. They got on a bus yesterday, so they have made it in. They tip off at 7:30, both games live on ESPN. But maybe they should watch the news channel. I guess we have to say that. When we come back, we will be going live to the city's command post. Lisa Chiava will be updating the emergency operations going on there.
And we're going to tell you how things are going out at Standiford Field. But first, we're checking out more of our pictures from our live remotes at 1242. Some of those stranded semis in Spaghetti Junction, just near downtown Louisville. More is coming right up. The in-county crews are working overtime today to help clear those roads and help people who also need transportation.
That's right. Lisa Chiava joins us live now from City Hall with the very latest. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Rachel and Doug. Now, if it seems like a madhouse here in City Hall, that's because it is a madhouse. Take a look at what's happening here. You have people on the phone taking calls from doctors, nurses, and kidney dialysis patients. A lot of people have been here all night. They've gotten very little sleep. They're doing a lot of work, but they need your help. There are things you can do at home to help emergency operations here. First of all, you can stay off your phone. They're having problems making phone calls within the county of Jefferson County and surrounding counties. So if you don't have to be on the phone, please don't be on the phone. Another thing that you need to know is that there's no garbage service or junk service today or tomorrow. You know, this is a storm where you don't even have to venture outside of your house or call this emergency center and the storm still affects you. Here's another thing that they're doing here. They're filling out these four-wheel drive vehicle request forms. This is what everyone on the phone is doing. People are calling saying they need a ride to the hospital. How can I get there? People are calling saying I've got a four-wheel drive vehicle, and they're matching up these people. They're short on four-wheel drive volunteers today. They don't have that many. Call 574-3900. Hopefully your name can be added to this sheet of paper. Little problems they're handling, they're also handling the big problems, as you mentioned. For instance, stranded motorists and other people like that. The National Guard is centered here. They're calling in more soldiers, already 600 National Guard troops activated as a result of this storm across the state of Kentucky. Shelters are filling up because of this cold weather. The Red Cross needs volunteers. If you'd like to volunteer to the Red Cross, we have a phone number, 589-4450. That's 589-4450, or just call the Red Cross. They need volunteers. So there are things you can do to help out in this storm. Rachel, Doug?
Lisa, let me ask you something. Since they're having trouble getting four-wheel drive people in today, is there any kind of reimbursement for the people with the four-wheel drive vehicles? I know most people don't care. They're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. But for those who might need gas money, do they do that thing for them?
We'll have to check on that for you, Doug. For now, the people that have been coming in have been just wonderful volunteers. They say, look, I'll work as long as you want me to. I'll work all day. And they have not even asked that question, the people that are volunteering. But I'll have to get back with you on that. We've not checked that question, Doug.
All right. For some reason, I've heard that. Thank you very much, Lisa. Appreciate you checking on that.
All right, we need to bring you up to date now on the airport situation. If you were planning on flying out or if you're planning on meeting someone, you need to know this. This is a view from Sky 11 of the airport yesterday, and it is still snow covered today. What we need to tell you is there is no public parking at the airport, so if you're going out there, you need to know there is nowhere to park your car. The airport is open, but you need to know that many airlines have canceled flights or delaying them. So it's very important that you call ahead to make sure the flight that you're catching or meeting someone out there is still scheduled on time. Once again, the airport is open, but there is no public parking, and you should call ahead to check on all flights out there.
When we were on the air much earlier this morning, we saw some jets taking off live from Sky 11. Julie Koenig was with us then, and she's back with us now, checking out the sights from high in the air. Hello, Julie.
Hello again, everyone. Right now we are circling the entrance ramps to Spaghetti Junction. Remember that they're going to start towing vehicles that are stuck starting at 1 o'clock. Here's an example of some areas we hope they hit first. It appears that the biggest backup there is on I-64 westbound into Spaghetti Junction. Also some stranded semis you see there on I-71. Again, if your car has been left along the interstate, you might want to keep in touch with the state government, because they're going to be the ones that are going to come along and start moving it now. The good news, as you can see, a little more blacktop is starting to surface here in Kentuckiana, so hopefully some of these roads are being traveled enough that we are going to get down and get through that ice. However, a lot of the highways, as you can see here, still covered with ice, snow, slush, especially the Gene Snyder freeway. We were down south a little while ago. That looks extremely hazardous. I would avoid that at all costs. Doug and Rachel will be up here throughout the day. We're going to head back down south and see if the tow trucks are starting to move those semi-trucks down south there by the Brook Road exit. We'll be back in touch with you as soon as we have some more to tell you. Rachel, Doug.
Thanks,
okay,
Julie.
Thank you very much, Julie. From the air down to the ground, the News Channel's Mark Hebert is live in the Spaghetti Junction area.
Hey, Mark, turn around.
Hey, Mark. We're talking
You're
to
on
you.
the air.
Oh, hi.
Go right ahead.
Doug.
Go right ahead.
I think these guys are showing up to. What do you want, sir? Come here for a second. We're on live. Come here. As you can see, there's still some stranded cars behind us here. These guys just stopped. I have no idea what they want. We're going to ask them.
Well, I'm helping people get to the St. Matthew's Community Center, and we
The Red Cross Station.
Yeah, and we picked this guy up at the Red Cross Station out at the community center, and this is his truck. He's trying to go to Texas.
Oh, okay.
So I told him I'd bring him down here because I got to go to Oak Street, pick up another lady, and take her back.
You're a good Samaritan. You're from here. Who's from Texas? Who's the guy from Texas? Come here. It's Robert. Robert, what's your last name?
Ferguson.
Robert Ferguson. Your truck's parked just in front of us, right?
I've got the gooseneck and this red truck.
Oh, so what time did you get stranded yesterday?
1 o'clock.
And so then what happened last night?
The Red Cross pulled up on the ramp up here and brought some cocoa and carried everybody to the Red Cross Center at St. Matthew's.
Volunteers?
Yes, I suppose.
Terrific people?
Great.
Did you have a good sleep last night?
Well, we went to a motel just right across from the place, but they were great. They gave us coffee and everything.
So, a decent stay in Louisville despite the circumstances?
Not too bad.
Not too bad, but now you're heading to Texas?
Yeah.
Well, good luck getting there.
All right, thanks.
All right, see you guys. They're going to go dig out their trucks. There are still plenty of vehicles on the highway. One lane open on 71, 64, virtually everywhere is open. But as you just saw, take the four-wheel drive. Rachel and Doug. Oh, by the way, I have a question for you all.
What?
Is it still below zero?
Yes, it is. I think the last check, what were we, 9, 8 below?
Mark, it's like 9 below zero.
Oh, well, that's nice to know, Doug. Thank you so much for that information.
Thanks for sharing the information, right? All right, we just apparently got a call from TARC earlier. We said the last bus leaves at 5. We're being told it is 6 o'clock that the last bus leaves, so make sure that you're at the bus stop to catch your bus by 6 o'clock.
And it's a freebie. When we come back, we're going to check in one more time at City Hall Command Post to get the latest on emergency operations.
That's right. Plus, Chuck Taylor will give us a final update on this bitter cold weather that Mark Hebert is in the midst of, obviously. It is 12:51. You're looking at live pictures from Sky 11 on a record-setting day here in Kentuckiana, a record cold temperature for this date in history. We'll be right back. To Chuck Taylor now, who has the very latest on the weather situation. We're not. Okay, I've got my pages out of order. We are.
It is 6 below zero right now. Our wind chill is 39 below zero. Of course, earlier today we did set a record 10 below here in Louisville. North of us in Indianapolis, it got down to 17 below. Now, this afternoon, it may struggle up to zero, but we do have a wind chill warning in effect for those wind chills of 40 to 50 below zero, and looks like we're going to tie a record tonight, getting down to 14 below zero. Now, you shouldn't be out in this type of weather, but if you really, really have to get out, remember these tips. Wear loose and layered clothing, and, of course, wear a hat and mittens. Just don't exert yourself and stay out for very short periods of time, and of course, the best advice is to check on the children and elderly. It looks like we will finally start to come out of the deep freeze in about 36 hours, and by the weekend, temperatures should move above freezing. But until then, don't go out unless you really have to. Rachel?
All right, sorry about that, Chuck. My pages are now back in order. Well, this bitter cold is presenting some concerns for the National Guard. City and county crews trying to clear the roadways and offer emergency help.
Before we leave you at 1 o'clock with this special report, let's go back to Lisa Chiava for another final update on what's happening down at the DES Center. Hello, Lisa.
People want to know about snow removal, and here's the man we need to ask, the mayor. What about snow removal? When will things return to normal?
Well, the plows are out. We're on all the main radials. That's why TARC's running on the 9 main radials from the downtown out into the suburbs of our community. We're plowing the main streets. Right now, we've moved a lot of our operation because several pieces of equipment got broken down out in the South Louisville area. So we're out now, and we'll be in a big way out around St. Mary's and Elizabeth, cleaning Bluegrass, Taylor Boulevard, etc. We hope once we get the main radial squared away by today, we can start with secondary streets tomorrow. But it's going to be some time to get back into some of the subdivisions. So folks got to start thinking in terms of the fact that TARC is running for free, and if you can walk out to a main radial, there will be a TARC bus from 7 in the morning till 7 at night.
Cold weather's going to slow you down because of the salt problem.
Cold weather slows us down because the bottom line is the salt doesn't work unless it's 20 degrees or warmer. So we're not putting salt down. We're simply plowing, as we did all Sunday night, Monday, all day, and all last night, plowing. We'll start putting salt down when it comes closer to probably Thursday and hope that that'll break it up a little bit in terms of the ice.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So you heard it, Rachel and Doug. They're out there plowing. They are going to hit the main arteries tonight and secondary streets tomorrow. So that's the optimistic prediction here.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. And a lot of people are wondering about performances of Phantom of the Opera tonight. We are getting a lot of calls on that. It has been canceled for tonight. There will be no show tonight. They are going to reschedule the performances, they tell us, but at this point they say they have not been able to confirm the new dates. Again, no show for the Phantom tonight.
All right, and again, there are still thousands of people in the Louisville area and throughout Kentuckiana who still have no power out there. Right now, we need to let you know that 10,000 customers are still without power with LG&E. Now, if your electricity goes out or if you see a downed power line, you can call this number, 589-3500. And for PSI customers, the number is 282-0342.
And again, Kentucky Wildcats and Hoosiers of IU will play tonight on television. They got there.
Thing indoors.
I know it. I know it. Looks like we tie the record tonight. We may even break it. We may even get down to 15 below zero.
Ooh,
of course,
that sounds awful.
That's getting close to the coldest temperature we ever had here in Louisville.
What is that anyway?
20 below zero. That was set on January. Well, it was actually set twice, but the last time was January 24th, 1963.
All right. So people definitely, you've got a warning so that it's dangerous.
It's a wind chill warning. It is dangerous. Absolutely. I can attest to that just walking a few blocks.
Well, exactly, and the folks who've been out there all day with the news channel here need to be definitely careful. All right.
All right, Chuck, thank you very much. Again, that's how the story is developing today. The bitter cold temperatures, below zero weather. It doesn't look like the bitter cold is really going to break for, Chuck says, maybe 36 hours. We might start seeing a gradual thaw, and then the gusher's really going to come over the weekend when we hit 50 degrees.
Well, that won't be this weekend. That'll be sometime next week.
Sometime next week.
Sometime next
week. We need to let you know.
We're just very excited, Chuck.
Yes.
In about 2 minutes, don't forget what the governor said at the beginning of this newscast, and that is if your vehicle is stuck in the driving lane of the interstate, starting in 2 minutes here at 1 o'clock, they will be towed. If they are abandoned on the shoulders of the roadways, towing will start sometime tomorrow morning.
Again, that's the major roads he is talking about. If your car is on a side road, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Stay with Kentuckiana's News Channel. We're going to continue weather updates, News Channel updates every half hour throughout the afternoon, and of course special live reports coming on our 5, 5:30, and 6 o'clock news. So stay with us.
Have a good day.
Do you want a career that's in demand? Consider training in accounting. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, there is a steady demand for skilled accounting professionals. National education centers can train you for this rewarding career. You'll learn the manual and computer accounting skills needed across the country. And once you graduate, NEC's placement staff will go to work helping you find work. Call now for information on starting your accounting career. Call 1-800-722-7337. 1-800-722-7337. Call now.
20 hours of labor, 1,800 diapers changed, and more stains than you can count. Welcome to motherhood. Time for Oxidol. It's got this stain-seeking bleach. Hard to believe, I know, but it actually works. It gets out lots of stains better than any regular detergent. Trust me. What more do you want? I mean, from a detergent.
Stains find kids. Oxidol.